We have a
We don't
phone?
have sound.
We don't have sound. Are we going to resolve that issue or?
And that's fine. The laptop's taken. So we started Yard of the Season last couple years ago, and we started it to recognize those who do a great job of taking care of their yard. And this summer Yard of the Season, it goes to the Witt family.
The Wits.
You raise the grass around their yard, you can tell that they take care of it and keep it manicured. Also, I left the sign in my office, so I will get that to them. They'll get a yard sign, and then Holly Nursery and Jeter Group, they provide the $50 gift card to them. So they'll get that. And anyway, congratulations. They do a really great job of not just their yard, but also a few yards around them they take care of too. So
They control half the
thank you
neighborhood over
guys
there.
for taking care of your home, and we just want to recognize you for that. Can I get a picture of you? Okay. I'll over there by the mayor.
By the mayor. You didn't say anything about the mayor's picture.
Maybe I could Photoshop it in.
Jean's our friend. We're
There we go. All right, I'll fake handing you a sign.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe we get a picture of us molesting our lawn, but
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
okay.
We are good.
We're good.
We're good.
Garrett says we're good.
Yeah.
The IT assistant from remote that says we're good. That's good.
Testing.
Okay. Now let's get down to some more pressing business. Last month, Calvert City Council went to executive session to discuss an exciting opportunity for the county and learn more about a project. And the project's moving forward rather well. And so we've got visitors tonight, and I will let them introduce themselves. They're going to introduce the concept to a project for Calvert City. Like I said, I'm very excited about and looking forward to learning more and moving forward tonight. So with that said, are we ready for the presentation?
Ready if you are.
Okay. Are we ready? We're ready.
My name is Neil Curtis. I'm the Senior Director of Corporate Development at Churchill Downs Incorporated. Thank you all for having us here tonight, having us back tonight. We've got a short presentation here that I think we're going to pull up now. We'll go through a quick background of Churchill. I think we love to talk about that, but I think you all know about us now. So we'll get through that quickly, talk about our planned project a little bit, and then get into the details of why we're here tonight. So if you could go to the first slide. So most people know us for the Kentucky Derby, but less known, we're also a publicly traded company that has diversified more broadly into gaming over the past 10 or 15 years. We do things like online wagering and brick and mortar historical horse racing facilities. You can go to the next slide. So the Kentucky Derby, we held the 150th running this past May. It's a big success with 157,000 fans. We hope that everybody here gets a chance to come at some point. It's a really fun time, something that we're very proud of. And on the next slide, you'll see that we are a nationwide operator. As we mentioned, we've diversified pretty broadly into gaming around the eastern half of the country. We've got a pretty large footprint at this point. We've got 12 gaming properties in 11 states. We own 4 racetracks in Kentucky. And at those racetracks, or in connection with the licenses at those racetracks, we operate or are currently developing extensions in connection to each of those licenses. So for the project we're talking about today, can we go to the next slide, please? It's in connection with the Oak Grove license. So this is a standard bred facility that we built, that we were licensed for back in 2018. Have been racing there for the past 5 years. It's in Oak Grove, Kentucky, on the Tennessee border. It's a pretty large investment with a hotel and historical racing facility. But it's the only track where we don't currently have an extension facility. So this is something that we are allowed to do by law in connection with our racetrack licenses, is to build a track extension, which is where we have a historical horse racing facility. It's got to be within 60 miles of the racetrack. So we looked at all of our options within that radius, and Calvert City really stood out as a great place to locate this extension for a bunch of reasons. It's well positioned to pull from Paducah and Mayfield and Murray. You've got Kentucky Dam and lots of tourists here, plenty of traffic on I-24 and I-69, and we were thinking that this would be a good place to try to put our facility to hopefully keep the tourists and travelers that come through, and have them spend a little more time and spend their dollars in Calvert City. So on to the next slide, we're going to get into our actual project here. So we're in the fairly early phases of planning for this project, but expecting it to be a ground up construction here in Calvert City, 23,000 square feet. It'll have around 250 historical racing machines, a sports bar and sports book and simulcast center. We're looking to locate this facility off of exit 27. And based off of our similarly situated projects that we've done, you can see here, we're expecting around 90 jobs and around $4 million in estimated annual payroll for those jobs. And in addition to that, we expect about 250 construction jobs to be created as we build out this facility. As we think about where to locate a facility and what to include in our program when we build out a new project, we explore whether economic development incentives are available, which brings us to why we're on the agenda today. Here to speak more about this is my colleague, Eric Furlan, Vice President of Tax for Churchill Downs.
Thank you, Neil. Yeah, so the reason we're our ask here today is, as we discussed before, is to have Calvert City issue some industrial revenue bonds by adopting a bond resolution. Just to be clear, the industrial revenue bonds are an economic incentive that is granted by the state that cities and counties can enter into. To be very clear, as it relates to economics for the city, we would be doing a pilot payment. And that pilot payment would make the city and all the jurisdictions in the city whole for the revenues. It will receive the same revenues regardless of the industrial revenue bond. But the bond itself effectively takes the property, the real property, that legally becomes the property ownership of the city, which we would then lease back for purposes of our utilization. And the effect of that is it pulls the property off the property tax rolls. So we, instead of paying you property taxes, we would be paying you a payment in lieu of tax. We call it a pilot payment. And so the city will, the school district, all the jurisdictions in the city will get the amount of money that the property taxes would have had. The reason it benefits us is there's the state incentives associated with that will enable us to have a better economics and allow us to build a bigger facility or better facility than we otherwise would be able to model out. So that's the ask we have. And I want to be clear. This economically leaves the city in the same place it would otherwise be. It is not a general obligation of the city. The city is not backing, there's no pledge the city is making backing it. So it does not constitute indebtedness for the city, and it will not reduce the city's impact for borrowing. So that's why we're here, and the ask we have. And again, this allows us to effectively get state tax incentives, which will again allow us to do a better job of investing in the property, which hopefully your entire city would be able to enjoy. I am not the industrial revenue bond expert. Tim Eichler is here, who is our outside counsel. And
So you brought one. You brought an expert.
Well, I don't want to get myself in trouble.
I got you.
I bring my lawyer with me.
Okay.
So that's the ask. There's one more slide on here if you. We've discussed about this before, but as an employer, we take a lot of pride in how we treat our employees. We have great benefits, both from support development, but great benefits, 401k, employee stock purchase plans, et cetera, et cetera. So we treat our employees very well and try and allow them to have it more of a career than short-term job. So with that, any questions that Neil, Tim, or I can answer?
They're on the spot now. Council, any questions that you have concerning this thing? No? So a nominal job figure is 90 jobs that was in the presentation, I believe. Right?
Yes, there's.
Yeah, and that's based off of our other projects that we've done that are similar size, so it's an estimate, but we think that there should be around 90 jobs required for a project of this size.
Okay. So 23,000 foot is the gaming area of the entire facility.
23,000 feet would actually be the entire facility.
Okay.
Here. So this is on the smaller side compared to some of the things we've done in Louisville or elsewhere, but we think it's a good fit for the market and a good fit for capturing some of those tourists and travelers utilizing the interstate that will come through. It allows us to put together a good program that fits here.
That being said, many of our, not all, but many of our properties, if the activity in the facility warrants it, we are more than ready to expand. And that could mean any number of things, but if you look at the bond, the initial investment in the bond, the amount of bond actually allows for potential future investment.
And I'm glad you mentioned that because we do have a long history of expanding a lot of our other projects that have gone well. I think we just recently opened up a new hotel at our Derby City Gaming property. So that had been there for a few years, was doing really well. We decided, we took a look at what we could do to kind of expand there or elsewhere and decided that would be a good use of capital to add a hotel there. It's been really successful. It's wonderful. If you ever get up to Louisville, would definitely encourage you to come see that.
Just to clarify that in some of the paperwork, the overview that you gave us from the last meeting is that this is a conduit. Basically, it's a conduit and the city is not going to be out any funds.
100%. It is, we actually would be, we'd be the debtor and owning the bonds. Our rent that we pay on the lease, we're actually paying to pay the debt service, which, so in effect, there's essentially no cash moving in there.
Right.
But in addition to it not being an obligation for you, again, you might need to step in here because I don't remember the numbers, but we've agreed, and this is, we would always do this, the legal costs associated with getting the bond issued, things of that nature, we absorb that cost at not the state.
Yeah, and credit, the sole source of repayment is the company. So unlike when you issue your other bonds and you're on the hook for repayment of those, in this context, the only person who could be responsible for repayment is the company.
Any other questions from council? Now, you don't have the exact project location and some other details
We
on
don't
that.
have the exact location yet.
Okay.
So we're looking, and why don't you address this, because you're closer to it.
Sure. Yeah, we're working hard on building all of this out. This is still fairly early in the process for us. So a lot of the final decisions have not been made yet, including on where exactly to locate the project, other than we want it to be near that exit 27. And some of the program might change a little bit, but generally it's going to be about this size. It's going to be about this budget. And the small decisions are yet to be made, but that's what we are expecting to do.
So as we progress and actually know the location and start doing renderings, we would then have more to share with you and have more robust public discussion of that. So you'd be able to see what it would look like.
So I can imagine you had quite a bit of investigation on the business plan and you wound up here at Calvert City. Have you, this is as far as you've gone with any other, as far as coming out public and saying, hey, we're interested in an exit. This is the first time that you've done that.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Any other?
I don't mind to say some things now that this is the public record that we discussed in our executive session. First off, we are overjoyed and appreciative that you guys realized the opportunity in Calvert between tourism and the interstate traffic and all that we've known for quite a while. And we are happy, well, I'm happy to partner with you guys to give you those economic development mechanisms that are allowed by the state. And again, not any dollars out of the city or the local officials. This is an economic development mechanism that the state has put in. And it's not unique. You gave us a good list last time of other examples of projects that you've done, several in Paducah. So just to be transparent about this bond mechanism, because I know it's not super common. But yeah, we always want to be business friendly in Calvert. I believe that. And you guys are hopefully a kind of a cornerstone to future development. So, yeah.
Anybody else? All right. Well, that seat wasn't too hot to sit in. That's fairly straightforward. Okay.
I just want to say thanks again for having us up here and appreciate your support and everything, and we're excited to continue pursuing this project.
Okay. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Could I get your name, sir?
That
would be greatly appreciated.
So as far as
Do you need a motion?
what we need to do,
Yes, we'll get through that. I'm gonna turn this over to Greg for a minute procedurally because we want to get this right. Okay. So Greg, explain what exactly is in front of us and what we need to do to consider.
You've actually got three documents. Got the resolution authorizing the industrial revenue bond. That's the top thing in your packet. The next item back is the memorandum of agreement.
Hang on a minute, start. We had some side stuff going on. Gallery can't hear. Start all over again on what we have in front of us, Greg.
Okay, you've got a.
Hey. All right. We'll get everybody's names all straightened out. You got cards and everything? Okay. All right, that's fine. Go ahead, Greg. So what do we got in front of us to consider?
We've got initially the resolution of the city council to authorize the industrial revenue bond. Then we've got the memorandum of agreement that is the preliminary document to the actual agreement. This is the broad stroke of the agreement that ultimately we will have to enter once the details of the project are ironed out. This memorandum of agreement will be reflected in the ultimate agreement. Then we have the inducement resolution, which is your inducement for payment in lieu of taxes. That's the document that requires that Calvert City receive, in effect, payments instead of getting property tax payments. They will get payments in lieu of tax, and that's what Exhibit C is. It's the inducement resolution. So you've got a memorandum of agreement and two resolutions in effect. Tim put up with me for several requests. They have beefed this up a bit on the inducement and the reimbursement of any expenses that you may incur that are unanticipated. They are intending to absorb whatever those may be, whether they're business, transactional, or litigational. To absorb those. And that's what these documents reflect.
Okay, so we've done industrial revenue. The Calvert City has done industrial revenue bonds before for economic development. And I think in the ones that I'm familiar with in the past, we have foregone payroll taxes or something else as part of the economic package to induce and to help the industry plan that capital investment. And in this case, it's taking it off the property tax roll. The payroll tax still comes through. Property tax is taking care of the pilot to the local entities. right?
Right.
And all the costs for the city are covered. Even unexpected costs may not be enumerated in here.
Right.
And this does not affect our ability to borrow money, should we have to do that, which we have not done to any great extent in a long time. So is there any other key points here?
Not that have concerned me. If there are any that concern you, we'll look at it. Those are the issues that I was primarily concerned about. Those are the-
So we're looking for a motion, a second, and a vote for the resolution to accept this. Now, how much of this, we don't have to read it forthwith or anything, okay? So it's as simple as that. And then one part, it's not three parts. It's one part. We need one resolution.
It's just exhibits.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
Just to approve the resolution and the exhibits.
crossing the Ts and dotting the Is. Okay.
But there are two
But,
resolutions.
Tim, that's
We're just
satisfied.
doing the first one.
Say it again.
There are two resolutions and one memorandum. Are we doing one motion and
One motion.
to cover all of them?
One motion to approve the resolution approving an industrial revenue bond and its attachments as presented to me.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Linda? This is a simple acclamation vote. It's not a roll call situation.
Ralph.
Oh, no, me and Ralph. I made
Jeremy
it.
made it, Ralph seconded it.
Sorry.
Okay. So we have this out here. Is there any further discussion in the matter? Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye,
Aye.
and opposed? All right, ayes carried. We're very excited about the potential. Be looking forward to learning more and seeing the details of the project as they unfold. And we trust that it's going to be a successful endeavor on your part, and be looking forward to learning more about it.
Thank you very much.
All right, very good.
Remember to get Calvert City in that name.
Okay, do we have anything else on there? We didn't take care? Okay. All right. Is there any pending old business we need to bring up? Okay, any new business? We've got the interlocal agreement and this consideration of industrial revenue bond taken care of. And with that, we're going to go about a normal business of a council meeting and get reports. Blair, did you finish your report, or you just got our line of the season taken care of?
Sure. I got a long list of things.
Long list of things.
We just had our back to school splash and it was awesome. I was expecting about 50 people and I think we had around 500 show up. But it was awesome and kids seemed to enjoy it. Lots of help. Thank you for getting things set up and ready to go. We have our next event is the Live in the Park. We're gonna have some live music in the park during Food Truck Friday. It's August 23rd, and will be Deja Blues, a local former employee of the city. He has a band, and he's going to be playing for us on the August 23rd from 6 to 7 p.m. In the park. Then we have our Balloon Glow, which is September 13th and 14th, and it's going to be awesome. I'm excited.
How many balloons?
10 balloons.
10 balloons.
10 balloons in Memorial Park. So Friday night, there will be a balloon glow. People will have the opportunity to tether their balloons, go up and down. It's $25 to tether. And that is from 5 until 8 p.m.
Which day was that? I'm sorry.
September 13th.
The 13th. Okay.
So then that morning, Saturday morning at 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., they're going to be flying. It'll be a competitive flight. So basically they start in Doctor's Park and the person that we contracted says go, They literally hop in their cars. They have a predetermined space that they want to go to. They go out and then they fly into Doctor's Park right behind us to do, they have a sandbag that they drop on a target. So that's going to be Saturday and Sunday morning.
From when to when?
What's that?
From when to when?
6 to 8 in AM. And I will be awake. Not happy about it, but I will be awake. So that is September 13th, 14th, and then the 15th will be that Sunday. You guys, the council is invited to breakfast that morning to give the awards out to the pilots that won the competition. And it's going to be at 10:30 at the Kentucky Dam Village State Resort Park. So
That's on Sunday.
that's on Sunday the 15th at 10:30. So you're welcome to join us. And of course, John, you need to, I guess. And then the next thing we've got coming up is the River Folk Fest. It's October 4th and 5th. Bluegrass Festival. We partnered again with Jackson Purchase Bluegrass Association. The Grascals will be joining us, and as well as a couple other well-known bluegrass bands. That's going to be Friday and Saturday night, the 4th and the 5th. I'm crazy, and we're doing the paddle up on the 5th. So we're having 2 events that day, but Kentucky Dam Paddle Up will be on October the 5th. You can sign up online. We're going to paddle down the river. We'll start at Kentucky Dam Boat Launch. Paddle down. It's free to participate. We also will have boats available. If you don't have a kayak and you want to participate, you can sign up for the boats. I don't have that out yet. I try and wait about 3 weeks out because people sign up for it and then forget. And then we end up having lots of kayaks open. So I'll get that out soon. That is October the 5th. And I think that's enough to talk about tonight. So anybody have any questions?
What time on the 5th?
Which one? The paddle up?
Both.
Paddle up is at 8 a.m. That's what time we'll put in. And then the River Folk Fest is from 10 until 6 on Saturday. On Friday, it's 5 until 8.
But you can find more information on the Calvert City's Facebook page and other postings
That's right.
as they come along. All right,
Absolutely.
thank you. Utilities, Dan, you got news for us?
We're good in that.
Okay. Well, I'll speak for you. We've got some big things going on at utilities. We're looking for people. We're looking for water superintendent. We've got the word out on some channels and stuff. And we also believe we're going to add an hourly technician is still in the works. We'll see. So, you know, in the public utility field, it's like every other field, always help wanted, and it's a great field to get into. It takes, you can't, it's a hard work, but you have to get certain certifications. I think it's a great area. There's a lot of stuff out there in Kentucky water. So if anybody wants to investigate those careers, we'll put you on some resources to learn more. Okay. So utilities fine. Chief Davis, you got something?
Yeah. I would like to personally say thank you to the Calvert City Commonwealth and employees. We had a little fire over there 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Had a plug on an air conditioner malfunction. As bad as it had to be, it was on the end that most of the patients are bedridden. So they had to, haul them heavy beds out. They did an excellent job, got them out, got them to safety. Shut all the doors that they were supposed to shut. Luckily, I've always wondered why they don't have a whole lot of stuff in them rooms. Well, that is why right there, because there's no fire load there. If there would have been a fire load there, we probably wouldn't have had the convalescent sinks.
So that's one of our nightmares on life safety in this community. They had to act together and got it done, is what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
There was 2 patients that were kind of put out because they couldn't go back in the room. I didn't feel comfortable letting them back in the room with the smell and all that, and they agreed and understood and was good with it. They also had a fire at the country club. Luckily, the person working went outside and yelled at two golfers that was, don't know if they had just got done or were fixing to start anyway. They come in, luckily they knew how to use the fire extinguisher. extinguished it. Had to get the smoke out. Very, very large amount of smoke. And then we've had 3 or 4 other fire calls. We've had a pretty busy month. And then, medical is still up. So, and everybody is busy right now in the whole county, so. That's what I've got.
Okay. Sergeant, you got something to report tonight? Well, you did a good job in the introduction, even though you don't have. So, all right, thank you for that. So who else? Brad's not here. He's not hiding.
No.
John, you want to give us a general update on happenings?
Sure. 10th Avenue is coming along. The guys are making good headway with it. They're working the shoulders now. And they've actually gone from Horse Barns, city limits of Horse Barns, over to Colorado and around to West 10th and bringing West 10th up to 95. So when it's done, the whole area will have been set up for drainage, widened, and ready for paving. So they've been working pretty hard and pretty steady at it. And the neighbors in that area have done a wonderful job of being part of the project. I mean, they've granted access, they've granted permission without a lot of issues. And so it's been just it's been beneficial to everybody all the way down the road on that one. The bathroom is moving along. They've actually had a concrete pour on all the rough end has been done. They've got the concrete pour on the floor. They're actually setting up right now. They're putting the door frames in to get ready for the block layers. So it's moving on. The pickleball is at the engineering for design and bid for that project. They're working on our 5-year plan, road plan, pavement plan. They're working on that one as well.
We're talking on the levee around the water.
Yeah, we're working on that. We're talking about that one and trying to get some information on it before we dive off on it. No pun intended. The multi-use trail is moving along again. We're in the process. It's out for bid right now. So hopefully we'll be hearing something on it. We can get that moving forward.
You have a date for opening?
Yes and no. It's this month and the next week or so.
Okay.
So we'll have several. We've got several pieces of equipment that have been bid out. We're waiting to hear back from that tractor, jetter, some other items like that. But moving forward on a lot of those projects and trying to get them done. They actually finally got some information back for the canopies, shade canopies down here at the baseball fields. Those are actually having to be rebuilt. The company that built them originally is no longer doing those style canopies. And so we've had to go to another company. And so we actually sent them measurements and then they actually send someone back down here to double check the measurements to make sure. So, and actually the price is not as bad as I thought it would be. So, but that's actually moving forward.
When is the bid opening for the trail,
For what?
for the trail?
Multi-use trail?
Yes.
I'll have to get that to you. I don't have it in front of me. You remember it?
Have it
Paperwork in there?
done? Have it been done?
It's
No.
in the next week or so.
Okay.
But I'll let you know before you leave. If you'll give me a second, I can tell you what it is.
It was a pretty important milestone to get the approval to send them out. And they've been out now for what, 3 weeks?
Yeah, we set it up for 3 weeks.
So that was a big milestone.
We ran it for minimum of 21 days. Boy, you got it.
Yeah,
I don't remember the date.
You either?
I still got the paper, so I'll look at
It's like 10 years in the making.
it.
7,
Yeah.
almost 10, 7. And I think it's where we're at. I mean, like I said, we've ordered a lot of the equipment. We're moving forward with, Blair and I have been working on the wayfinding signs. We're about to start working on a request for proposal on that one. So that's basically what we've been working on, is trying to get all these projects moving. So a lot of yards, junk vehicles, we're moving on those as well. So Bruce has been steadily hammering all the folks that we have on those. So maybe it's not the wrong word, but right word.
Hammering is not the right word.
Yeah,
It's working.
Diligently on getting those properties cleaned up and getting vehicles removed.
Yeah.
That's more appropriate, I guess. you'd say.
Yes. And,
That's all I have right now, unless you have questions.
no. Does anybody got any questions on any of his updates, or have a question for John in particular right now? Okay. I guess we need an airport update, then we'll go around the council and see what's going on. Important, I signed some important stuff for the airport this last week.
Actually, and the last couple of months, I've been kind of depressed that we've been showing no progress, but progress we have. We have completed our communication with the state engineer and planner. We're moving forward with the airport layout plan. The first 3 sections, the aerial photography, the forecast of based aircraft and activity, and the pre-environmental assessment documents have been forwarded to the FAA for their preliminary review. Next phase in that is forecast. Once the forecast is agreed upon, or the FAA gives the nod on the forecast, the Federal Aviation Administration, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I think we know the FAA.
We know that
That's
one.
about where it stops.
Once that occurs, we complete the needs document and then the development plans. Those will probably be late in the fall when we start reviewing them with the Department of Aviation and you folks in Calvert City for your stamp of approval. The state, as you know, is the sponsor of the airport. They have the final word on the airport layout plan and the capital improvement program. But recent history tells us that with your stamp of approval, it goes a long ways toward their acknowledgement. And also on the Happy project, Happy and Reels, the lights.
Well, you're gonna have to explain those acronyms.
Our electrical engineer, Hanson's electrical engineer, and the state engineer are completing their definition of the scope of work. They have discussed, sometimes heatedly, the importance of new cabling and those sorts of things, and the state is reluctantly so far been finally agreeing that those things need to be done. So we expect that those documents will be ready to put out in a couple of months. And finally, the Federal Aviation Administration gave us notice last week that their pre-applications for 2025 grants were due by September 3rd. They've never asked for them this early, but we'll be scrambling with John and with the state engineer, and we will be putting together the 2025 capital improvement program, 25 through 29. And we'll be giving that, I'll show progress on that next month. That's the end of my report.
Where are we at on the wildlife fence? The fence, the fence, the fence.
There has been nothing, we have not heard from the finance cabinet
Okay,
as to when phase 1. Crickets.
crickets.
Thank you.
All right.
They are wildlife.
We've listened to crickets for a while on some of those.
I wanted him to say that.
Okay, all right. I guess I shouldn't have asked that question. We don't know the answer. Okay. With that, I'm going to go around the council and we'll start with Kevin. Kevin,
I'm all good.
you're all good.
I'm all good.
Jeremy,
I'm all good.
Nita?
I have one question, and somebody in the community asked about it, and it's random, but when do we send out the bids to the banks for our investment in our accounts?
I need to.
So,
Soon, very soon.
Are we doing, that's required annually? Yeah, required annually.
Okay.
I've had similar phone calls.
That's all.
Chris,
I'm all good.
you're good?
I'm good.
Ralph? Tanera?
I do have one thing
Yes,
that I would
ma'am.
like to say, and I wrote it down when I first got here so that sometimes it's just easier to read than to just speak. So I have had the honor and the privilege of serving 4 terms on city council. I have given of my time, creativity, and patience to our community, and the city deserves 100% of all of us. And I feel that I have always strived to meet that commitment. However, changes in my personal life have led me to a difficult decision that I may no longer be able to give to the city of my time and energy that they deserve. Therefore, I want to inform you that my name will not appear on the November ballot. No, we had a lot that were concerned because we had 7 people running. I don't feel like there needs to be a concern anymore. And I would really like to thank our residents for giving me that trust and that honor.
Wow, I wasn't expecting that.
No, neither.
Well, thank you for your service and the time that you've done. And we all the elected officials, and we have some in the room, which I've neglected to introduce, I guess. But we know it is. I mean, it's the job that you do from your heart for your community at this level. And I really appreciate it there.
Do
And
not cry.
I know that's okay, I'll stop. But yeah, I'm floored too, but all right. I think all business is taken care of. At that point is,
Mayor, may I say something?
yes, ma'am.
I think most of the council members remembers Lance Cowan.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You played with
You
Lance
think?
Cowan,
Yeah.
did you not, many times? Okay. Lance, about 30, he worked for me back in the 1984, 85 era at the Tribune Courier, and he was one of the best reporters I ever hired. And of course, that means he was a good writer.
Well, I didn't know he did that, but
He was also a songwriter.
mhm.
Lance has been for the last 30 more than 5 years or so, he has been in Nashville. He has been playing with some of the top name people in country and popular music in the Nashville community. Lance has been a publicist for some of the main people. The one that I recall particularly is Reba McIntyre. He has worked for her as a publicist. He has worked for many other named people in country music field as a publicist for all these years. And of course, played with different bands in some of the venues where the musicians gather in Nashville and people go to hear the play. Now, Lance has come out with his own album, first album of 12 songs, and it is fabulous. Absolutely. Did you know about it, Greg?
Oh, yeah.
It is.
Yeah, Bobby, you got any copies with you for sale? Any merchandise or anything?
No, but I will certainly advertise on his behalf because it's Greg may know more about this than I do, but the title of it is So Far So Good. 12 songs. I think Lance performs on all of them except I think he performs in the musical part of this one that he does not do the vocal on, but he does the vocal on and accompanies himself on his instrument, and as well as playing with some named people in Nashville on this. And it will be released worldwide on February the 23rd. And This Heart of Mine, which will be a single, will be released on January 19th.
Okay.
And I'm so proud of him. I
Just had to say something.
I just had to tell you
Okay.
guys about it.
I see Lance some online various times. He'll put out a piece online every now and then. Yeah, so it's very good. Yeah. All right, but then, Kevin. We got a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Got a second? All in favor? Opposed? Okay, thank you.